Hi there, Erin Lee here of heavenlymessenger.com. Welcome to tonight's Connection with Intention. I'm so incredibly grateful that you are here with me this evening. It's always a pleasure for me to be able to connect with you in this way. And I'm grateful for the time that you're taking out of your day to be here, especially since we're really short notice. I got the notice out about 5:30 this evening at 7 o'clock now. I'm still having issues with spammers coming on. So please, thank you for your patience. If the spammers do come on, and let me know. I'm definitely going through and blocking them. And I have a couple of ideas for ways to fix it, but we'll come to that in a little bit. Before I get too far ahead of myself, I just want to announce that I'm bringing the chakra clearing spray back. It's got new packaging. I don't know with my lighting if you'll be able to see it, but we've got some new packaging. This is a product that I started creating back in 2006, so it's about 17 years now. When I had my business Savon Lee, I made soap, bath, and beauty products, and the chakra clearing spray was my crossover between bath and beauty products and the readings that I did. So in each container, there are 21 crystals, 3 for each of the 7 major chakras. And I make the water into a gemstone elixir. So it takes on the energy and vibration of the stone. So when you spray it, it's like spraying liquid crystal. And it also has an essential oil blend with patchouli, bergamot, ylang-ylang, eucalyptus, lavender, vetiver, and peppermint. It has been a huge hit and huge seller. And for the Christmas season only this year, I've brought it back. More information about that will be available on my Facebook page, and I'll probably do a live in the next couple of days as well. So just wanted to let you know. Wanted to welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll do a quick hello. Then I want to talk about something else really quickly. We'll do our crystals, our choose your own adventure crystal reading, and then I'll get to your questions. So Shelly, hello. It's so good to see you. I hope this is okay. Shelly is celebrating a really special day. So big hugs and hellos and celebration to Shelly today. Hi, Tammy. It's so good to see you. Thank you for joining me. Hello, Carrie. It's good to see you too. And Catherine, Jessica, hello. Maxine. Ooh, yes, you definitely do need some. Drop me a line, Maxine. I'll hook you up. And Shelly's saying yes, she does. So today I was asking myself, what am I going to talk about? Because I decided at like 3 o'clock this afternoon, we were going to go live today. I'm still kind of at the tail end of a cold, so my apologies in advance. I've got my cough candies so that I don't start coughing on you guys. And so I was asking, what do we talk about today? And immediately, because I was in traffic and because people were being unkind, I thought, well, we'd better talk about kindness today and how not only important it is to be kind, but also how easy it is to be kind. I think back to that moment, and I think at that moment I was struggling to be kind because I think I'd just been cut off by someone. And I had my partner sitting in the seat next to me, and all he could say was, "It's a good thing I'm not driving today, babe." And I'm like, yeah, it is a good thing you're not driving. But sometimes all it takes is just a moment to step back and to breathe and to remember that kindness is something that we all have the ability to give. And in the same way that it's difficult to give from an empty bucket, when it comes to kindness and to compassion, it's equally important to make sure that you're being kind to yourself and compassionate to yourself so that you, when you walk out in the world, you have a full bucket that you can give from, that you can offer kindness from, and you can offer compassion from. And it's really important. So when you are struggling to be kind to others, when you notice yourself becoming irritated and irritable, especially as we're coming into that holiday season when everybody seems to be go, 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 go at a time when all that we want is rest, make sure that you're taking time to fill your kindness bucket so that you have something to give to others, and be gentle, nurturing, and nourishing with yourself so that you have that to give to others too. The other thing that I wanted to talk about was some of the ways that messages come through in a really quiet and gentle way. And I talk about this often in my courses and classes when we talk about intuition. There is the idea and it's been perpetuated by Hollywood because this is often how we've seen it, that when you receive intuitive or psychic messages, it's really big. It's like somebody's taken out a billboard and it's like marquees and lights going like this, and it's big and it's obvious. And while that is true for some, for the majority, that's not what intuitive messages are like. And today, I know that there were more than this. Today, I had 3 clients and 3 people in my life pop into my head. One of them was somebody that I went to high school with, and we weren't friends. We're friends on Facebook. You know, it's kind of one of those back in 2007 when you were like, oh, this is somebody that I know. This is somebody I went to school with. We liked each other. We didn't like each other. We became friends on Facebook. And the interaction we've had with each other since then, since 2007, has basically been nothing. But she popped into my head today, very randomly, out of the blue. I hadn't seen her on Facebook in ages. And then when I get home, I opened up my Facebook and boom, first thing that I saw was a post from her. She had taken her daughters for a really cool girls weekend. And I'm like, wow, that's so cool. And then I had a client pop into my head again. I was driving home and I was thinking about her, and I was wondering, if she'd received the writing, the letter that I'd sent to her. She's international. She's in a place down in the Caribbean where they don't receive message or mail very easily. And then I opened my email and boom, there's a message from her. And then another client, I was thinking about her again while I was driving. Lots of stuff happens while you're driving. And again, I'm home for half an hour and bing, she's booked an appointment. And so psychic ability and an intuition doesn't have to be something that's really big. Sometimes it's just something popping into your head. And one of the most important things when it comes to developing your intuition and to developing psychic ability is about recognizing the fact that you're receiving it. Now, I could go along in my little world and think, oh, yeah, well, isn't that a coincidence? And I mean, sure, you could certainly do that. Or you could say, wow, thanks, universe, for giving me the heads up and kind of testing to see if I'm listening. And I'm like, yeah, I'm listening. So I encourage you over the next little while to listen to what's coming up for you, even if it seems really random, or if it doesn't really make a lot of sense, or if it doesn't have a really big impact on your day-to-day life. Just allow yourself to think about it. And one last one, and this does have a little bit to do with Shelley, so I'm glad that you're on this evening. Shelley, I've known Shelley for quite a while, and about a month and a half ago, she shared with me that today was a special day for her. And the last week, it's been popping into my head, oh, I have to make sure that I reach out to Shelley today and celebrate her, because it's not the kind of thing that's going to pop up on Facebook and let you know that it's something to celebrate. And so it's been in my head, and it kind of reminds me of like Winnie the Pooh, you know, when you're trying to remember something and it repeats over and over and over and over and over again. To make sure you remember. That was just kind of random and aside, but I had to share that because I think the way that our brains work is kind of fun and interesting. Awesome. Okay, so let me see. Where was I? Tatiana, hello. It's wonderful to see you. And Kara, welcome. Hey, Andrea, it's so good to see you too. Oh, Maxine, I had no idea. Maxine's just shared that yesterday was National Kindness Day. So look at that. We're a day late. But I think it's the kind of day that you can celebrate all year long. Brienne, hello, welcome. And Carrie, it's so good to see you. Carmen, hello. Raina and Gina, hello. Debbie, wonderful. So Debbie, if you want to ask a specific question in a couple of minutes, once I remove the no questions yet, please, you're welcome to do that. On my show, I ask for specific questions because when I tap into a person, I get so much stuff and I only have a couple minutes. So ask me something that is the most important thing that you want to talk about, and that's what I'll answer. The other thing is I don't do mediumship on my show. It's not my forte, and with only a couple of minutes, I'm not going to give you the best reading. So ask a question about romance and love life, or business and career, or life path and life purpose, and the spiritual experiences and that kind of stuff. That's really my jam, and I can get you something really good in a couple minutes. Hello, Ashley. It's good to see you. If you want to wait and ask your question again, I'd love to connect with you. Thank you, Shelley. I'm so glad that you were okay with me sharing. And Gina's saying book. Gina, tell me more. I'm not 100% sure, but I'd love to hear more about it. And Elizabeth, hello. It's great to see you. And Marie, wonderful. And we know. Good job, Gina. Hi, Claudia. It's so good to see you too. One other thing that I'll say before we go into the readings in a moment, I'm sending out postcards. I have about 300 left to write out. If you haven't sent me your mailing address, please do. Let me just pop this up here. You go to, there we go, postable.com/Erin Lee 2023. Today will be the last day that I'm looking for your mailing addresses. So I'll leave this up for a moment. Just don't ask any questions yet. Oh, Gina's saying that I was right. Everything that is happening that we talked about is happening. That's awesome, Gina. I'm so excited and glad for you. Awesome. Thanks, Carrie. Carrie's saying that I'm organized and it's a really good front that I put up. Hello to Ashley Ann. It's great to see you too. Wonderful. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this up. Boom, boom. And what I'll ask you to do is if you have a question, think about the question that you have. And while you're thinking about your question, ask, which crystal best represents the answer that I need today? I'm not doing a reading about the crystals themselves, so just which draws you the most for the question you're thinking about. The first one we have is obsidian, then we have rose quartz and clear quartz. And while you're thinking about your question and choosing your crystal, I'm just going to shuffle the cards. So the cards that I'm shuffling now are for obsidian, and we're going to, oops, sorry guys, I knocked up. There we go. And then the next card is going to be for rose quartz. And you can ask more than one question too. You just need to keep it straight in your mind, which is which. And our last card is for clear quartz. Ooh, we've got some cool stuff coming up with clear quartz. Don't know what it is yet, but we've got cool stuff. All right. So let me see. Oh, Mackenzie, I'm so glad that you're on. I need to email you. I need your mailing address. Okay, so we're not going to ask questions just yet. Hold on to them for me, folks. We're going to do this first, and then I'll come to your questions. Okay, so if you chose obsidian, the card that came up for you this evening is courage. This is Archangel Ariel. And her message is, be courageous and stand up for your beliefs. So often when this card comes up, it's something that we're struggling about. We're having a difficult time maybe deciding what it is that's important to us in the situation, what it is that we most need to back up. So there's a bit of review that's coming up. Decide what is most important to you in the situation that you're asking about, and then take a moment to really stand for yourself, to get behind yourself. And if you're having a hard time doing that, call on Archangel Ariel. She's kind of like the girlfriend who says, I always have your back. Whatever it is that you need, I always have your back. It's like you go to her, hey, I've got this body. And she's like, cool, I've got the shovel. Let's figure out where we're going to hide it. But in a more angelic sense. So know that there's a lot of support that's coming up for you in the situation, but what you're being asked to do is to make sure that you're standing in your truth in it. So no kind of wishy-washy, wibble-wobbly. Now is the time for you to choose what is most important to you and to stand your ground in it. And if you need help, call on Archangel Ariel for the support. If you chose the clear quartz, nope, rose quartz was in the middle. The card that we have for you this evening is positive energy. Surround yourself with positive people and situations and avoid negativity. So there's something in the situation that is artificially pulling you down. It's lowering or slowing your energy and your vibration. It's allowing room for challenge and difficulty and kind of the ick to come in. And the encouragement is to make sure that you are surrounding yourself with the people who you most vibe with. Now, this doesn't mean to say that, hey, I've got a friend, they're going through a really rough time. I'm not going to spend any time with you because your vibe and energy is too low, too slow for me. It means that it's important to make sure that you're aware of the energy that's going out compared to the energy that's coming in, and make sure that you're in a good place and a good balance. You know, sometimes we need to give a little bit more. Sometimes we receive a little bit more. That's okay. That's not what this is talking about. This is talking about in general. Make sure that you are inviting inviting yourself, that you're allowing yourself into situations where the energy is positive overall. You can be in a challenged place and not pull everything down. That's part of what this is saying. Look for opportunities to raise your energy and your vibration to help support the situation that's here. And this can also be encouragement to make sure that you're taking the high ground in the situation too. Don't get down low and slummy and challenged. Make sure that you're allowing yourself to come up and help to bring everybody up in the situation as well. And for the last card, if you chose rose quartz, nope, clear quartz. The card that we have for you is Layla. And this feels like such a beautiful, powerful card. Her message is spend time alone in nature, meditating about your desires and intentions. Ask the angels to help you gain a positive perspective. You know, there are lots of different aspects to this card. First of all, there's a message to disconnect from the day-to-day, what's happening, what's going on around you. Allow yourself to reconnect and recharge with the energy of nature. Get outside of your regular routine and slow down. Create time and space to meditate, to hear your own thoughts, to get out of the chaotic that tends to bombard us and overwhelm us and come into truth and clarity with yourself. It can be an invitation to connect with God's source universe, angels, ascended masters, whatever your belief system is, whatever works and supports for you, to come into a place of clarity. Because until you have clarity, it's really difficult to make a choice and decision about the direction that you're going, because everything is clouding and muddying where you are, what you're wanting, what you're needing, and where to put your energy in. So take some time to disconnect and connect with the energy of nature and the energy of love. Awesome. Okay, so I know that we've had lots of questions come in. Take a moment. I'm going to go through and look, because sometimes people post little things about the crystal choices that they have. But now is the time that you can post your questions, and I'll take them from here down. Let's take a look. Okay, let me see. Awesome. Carrie chose rose quartz. Gina, do you want to put your question in a little bit lower? And same for you, Debbie. Mackenzie, it's so good to see you. Let me see. And Ashley said clear quartz. Awesome. Okay, you guys put your question back to awesome. And thank you, Mackenzie. I so appreciate that you're sending me your email. And beautiful. Back to you, Jessica. Let me see. Okay, we're going to start here with Debbie. Hi, Debbie. Thanks for joining us. So Debbie's asked, I applied for digital skills for women to enter to be in the tech field. Oh, awesome. Congratulations. And she's asking, will I be accepted? It is for 3 months, all online, starting in January 2024. Yeah, as soon as I ask about it, as soon as I read about it, I wanted to congratulate you, because it feels like everything is coming together with that. So I do see lots of opportunity for you with that. And it feels like you're going to know within kind of the next couple of weeks. I'm seeing 14 days at the most. So today we're the 14th of November. So that gives us basically until the end of November. It feels like it's all coming together. I'm also seeing you having the resources that you need to participate. So I don't know if there are technological requirements that you need to have a computer that's at X speed or internet at X speed, whatever the requirements are. I'm seeing you either already having them, or that there's something that's popping in that's supporting you in getting them too. So that's incredibly exciting as well. Let's take a look and see where we're going with that for you, Debbie. So I'm going to the Mermaids and Dolphins Oracle card deck. And the card that we have for Debbie is Stay Optimistic. I love this card. So your dreams are coming true. Don't quit before the miracle occurs. So if you see with this card, we have a mermaid, and she's here in the foreground, and she's looking wistfully. I don't know if you can really see it or not, but we've got like a prince who's riding towards her on a horse. And in the background, we have the fairy tale castle. We even have over here orcas jumping out of the water, and we feel like our little mermaid here is very disconnected from what she is wanting from that, fairy tale experience. And the card saying, stay optimistic. Just because you have a fin and you don't have legs doesn't mean that you can't be with the prince. I think that the Little Mermaid taught us that. So stay optimistic about where you are. about the opportunities that are coming. Even though it seems like it's far away, it is moving towards you. And keep the faith. Debbie, it was such a pleasure connecting with you. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Awesome. Andrea, hello. It's so good to see you. The energy has been so nuts. Absolutely. It really has been. But the good news is that it feels like it's starting to slow down and calm down. I don't know if it's that it's actually calming down, or we've just become accustomed to it being a little bit nutty. And so it's not as much of an issue. I'm not sure, but it feels like it's getting easier. Okay, Andrea's saying, I keep getting signs, big things are coming up, but then it's like, just kidding. Okay. I haven't heard from my man in a month. I've released this, pardon me, but the synchronicities have upped even more now, telling me to hold on. Mom's been sending me songs and such. What's the energy with this connection? Okay. And it's giving ex-boyfriend vibes as well. Yeah. Okay. So basically you're asking about what's going on with the man in your life. And when I ask, I'm feeling the need to create separation. And the part of the big reason for that is because he's been separating and distancing too. I'm seeing you matching him where he is. Unless he's putting in and investing with you, the message is no. And it's kind of like, if it's not a, excuse my language, if it's not a fuck yes, then it's a hell no. And that's kind of what's coming up at this moment. Is that something that could change? Absolutely, it could change. But right now, it feels like it's important that you are bringing your energy back into yourself and creating like the space and the opportunity for someone else to come in, someone else who is vibing where you are, who's wanting the same things, who's ready for the same things. I can't tell exactly what's going on with your partner. He's doing whatever he's doing. He's got something that's going on. I don't know what it is, but it feels like it's really important for you to maintain you, to bring your energy back into you. Again, it's not because it's not going to happen, but it's not happening right now, and staying in it is not going to be something that's supportive for you. So take a step back, take a break, focus on you, and be open to somebody else. Let's take a look and see what we've got coming up for you, Andrea. All right. The card that we have here is You Know What to Do. This is Archangel Uriel. His message is trust your inner knowledge and act upon it without delay. Like, you already know what it is that you need to do. So part of what I'm hearing is sometimes we have a difficult time letting go of the things and the people that we've invested in. I don't know if it's because we want to be right, or because, we have a difficult time admitting that maybe we were wrong, or that just admitting that something has changed. But that it's important to allow it to let go when it's not coming around. Also, Archangel Uriel helps and supports us with emotions, with emotional healing, with getting deep down into what is the most important to us. And he also helps and supports us with our claircognizance, so clear knowing, so thoughts and ideas popping into our head. Give yourself the space and take a moment to step outside of the synchronicities that have been happening for you and ask, is it possible that this is a synchronicity, but it's a synchronicity for something else? And allow yourself to be open to it being something other than what it feels like it's initially confirming. Give yourself that openness and that opportunity and see what happens. Andrea, I'm always so grateful to connect with you. I'm so glad that you joined me this evening. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Awesome. Catherine, hi. Thanks for joining us. Okay. Oh, yes. Mika the kitty. Okay. How and where can we find her? Okay. So first of all, I am still seeing her like being around, being alive. I don't know if that's something that you're concerned about, but I do see her still being physically here. And it feels like she's pretty healthy overall. I feel like this is where I saw her last time. I'm seeing her hiding in like under a bush or somewhere. It feels like she's working to keep herself safe, and so she's in a place of hiding. And it feels like that's part of the challenge in finding her. And Catherine, I'm 99% positive that you're local here in the Comox Valley. I think this message came up before, but I want to encourage you to get in touch with kitty cat pals or cats, and just see if they have any suggestions about how you could bring her out, because it does feel like she's outside. Feels like she is an indoor cat. So with the changing weather, that might be a bit of a concern, because I'm wanting to make sure that you get her sooner rather than later. I am still seeing her being on the Courtney side. I think that's where I saw her before. And I'm flip-flopping about where, because this feels like this may have changed, but I've got East Courtney somewhere kind of popping up for her, and that feels like that might be far away from where she was last seen. I'm not exactly sure how she would have gotten there, because it doesn't feel like she got there on her own. It feels, yeah, I don't know why that would have happened. But it does feel like she's in hiding. So I do also want to encourage you to make sure you're putting up signs in your local area where she went missing from. And yeah, I wish that I could see where exactly this was in East Courtney, but I just keep seeing the Ryan Road Hill. And that's what's making me say East Courtney area, to keep an eye out there. Okay, let's see what messages are coming up for you. I'm hearing Archangel Ariel is helping and supporting you in finding her. And Ariel helps and supports us with animals. And the Angel Therapy card is the card that we chose for you this evening. This is Archangel Raphael. His message is, give your cares and worries to us angels and allow us to take your burdens. So this is kind of a let go and let God kind of situation. Do everything that you can, everything in your power. So like, connect with the organizations we talked about, connect with the SPCA, talk to the vets. Maybe somebody's brought her in and they just, she wasn't chipped or whatever, they weren't able to find you, but check in with them. Posters, as we said, and do what you can, but also allow yourself to give it over and say, hey, like, I need your help. This is bigger than what I'm able to do, but I'm able to focus on what I'm able to accomplish. Please help me. We just want to make sure Mika is safe. And Catherine, I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support to you, lots of angels to help Mika, bring Mika home to you, and sending, yes, just huge love and support. Thanks for joining us this evening. Awesome. Allison, it's so good to see you. Thanks for joining us. And you know what is so funny? I was thinking about you today too. Okay. So Allison saying, I met someone and it ended up being super complicated. I've had to go no contact so he can figure out some things. But I felt like this is a soulmate and I've been seeing lots of signs. I'm wondering if this is worth the wait, if he will be able to figure his things out. It's really interesting because it feels a little bit like the stuff that was coming up for Andrea too. So let's just take a look for you and see what's coming through. First of all, like the no contact, giving him space, that feels like that's really healthy, really positive for you. It does feel like he's got a lot that's on his plate, and it is definitely stuff that needs to be sorted out on his own. Sometimes we get into relationship with somebody and there's just like little niggles and little bits and pieces, and it's kind of like, yeah, none of us are perfect. We're going to figure this out together because I've got my stuff, you've got your stuff. It's good. But this does feel like that's definitely more than that. And it feels like it's important for him that he does it on his own. And it's important for you that you're not brought into the messiness of it. When I ask if this is one that's worth waiting for, I get a flip-flop because most of it has to do with his willingness to make sure that he's doing what he needs to support himself and to move through it. It feels like at this point that is something that he's motivated to do. So I'm excited to see that. That feels really positive. When I ask about for you, again, like I get this flip-flop. On the one hand, there is a lot of potential in this relationship and in this connection, and it does feel like there's work that he's going to do, and it's kind of like it brings you guys up into balance. The feeling that I have is that it's going to take a while. Like I'm seeing at least 3 months, but likely longer than that. So the question kind of becomes, is that something that you're willing to wait for? At this point in the relationship and in the connection, it feels like it's important for you to be open to another relationship. Not necessarily because there is going to be one, but more so that you don't get stuck in this waiting pattern. It feels like it's really important to be open to new relationship, to new connection. And if that new connection happens to be this person when he's in a better place, awesome. I'm super excited for you and I'm super happy for you. And I see that as a possibility. But I also see that there's the possibility of somebody else as well who feels like they are equally matched to you, and probably in a different place in their lives. There is this opening that I have coming up kind of in March, and I can't pinpoint who it is. It could be this other person coming in. It could be somebody new. And there's also there are kind of a couple of blips in January as well. So, yeah, there's a lot that's happening in your love life, but the excitement that I have is that it feels like you're getting close. It's kind of like the universe saying, hey, Allison, look, we've got this awesome guy. I mean, like, he's not quite ready yet. He's not done in the middle. You have to put him back in the oven, but it's close. It's better than, having to go out to the store and buy all the ingredients still. Like, everything's all mixed up. You just have to put it in the oven a little longer. So I'm excited about what the universe is telling you. It's telling you that you're close, and that's awesome. But until that energy is coming back to you in a healthy way, it's not time to invest in it. So you're free for right now. Let's take a look. We're going to go to the messages from the angels, and we're just going to ask what's coming up for Allison around relationship. Whew, I'm super excited about it. Yeah. We have Fiona coming up here, and her message is, now that you've asked the angels for help, be open to receiving divine guidance and assistance. You deserve heaven's help. So again, I see this as confirmation of the last message that came up for you, is that everything is coming together. And instead of like getting stuck in your head or stuck in your heart, be open and say, hey, like, what is in my best and highest good? Show me today where I need to put my energy so that I'm in a good place for when romance, relationship, and partnership does come into my life in a meaningful way. What do I need to do to keep myself in that good spot? And know that you're being helped with it too. Awesome, Allison. It's such a pleasure connecting with you. I'm so glad that you're here this evening. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. And I hope you'll come back and let me know how it goes in your love life, just in general. Ashley, it's so good to see you. Thanks for popping on. It's okay. It's okay. We're not in Mercury retrograde, but let's pretend we are. Ashley says, oh my God, I'm sorry. My question keeps posting accidentally. It's no worries. And I'm so glad that you came on Facebook after days and you were here. Oh, that's perfect. That's exactly what happened to me too. I was the first person to come up in Ashley's feed tonight. That's awesome. Okay, my question is to do with my kiddos and I. Things have been really yucky and tough lately. I'm extremely overwhelmed and anxious and stressed with everything. I'm wondering what you see coming up for us and if there's anything I need to specifically know or do in order for healing and change moving forward. Thank you. And it looks like part of your question has been cut off. So I hope that gives like the energy and the essence of what you're asking about. Okay. So let me see. Where are we? First of all, the first thing that popped in as I was reading what you were writing, pay attention to what's happening. One of the things that you said was that the message continues to post accidentally, and it feels like part of that has to do with your energy and your vibration and just being in this place of overwhelm. When you're kind of like this and things just kind of don't work out, that's energetically what's happening with the electronics. So first and foremost, it feels like it's important to make sure that you're taking care of you. You have nothing to pull from if you're not supporting yourself. And even as I'm saying the words, I'm like, Erin, that feels really kind of trite, but it's true. Make sure that you are taking care of you. And goodness gracious, it feels like you need a really good cry because you're holding so much. And especially when things are feeling really overwhelming too, it's important to start taking stuff off of your plate and get things back down to the basics. What are the absolute basics that I need to do. This is kind of aside from the question that you're asking, but home is really coming up strongly as well. And I'm kind of wanting to reach out to friends. I've got a mom coming through, or other people that you can ask them to come over and help you sort out and straighten out your home. Because it feels like on a physical level, like on a cleaning level, because it feels like that's part of where the stress is. And also one of those things that's probably been put off to the side because it's just not as important as everything else that's right in front of you. So ask for some help, whether it's with cleaning or some cooking or spending some time with the kids so that you can have a little bit of a break. Call in, ask for help and support. When I ask about what's going on specifically with the kids, I'm feeling the need to kind of get real with them, because it feels like a lot of what's happening is they're kind of bouncing off of your stuff. You're bouncing off of their stuff. And it's kind of like this ping pong of ick that's being perpetuated. So like get real with them to whatever is appropriate for their age. It could be as simple as, hey, mom's having a really rough time right now. Thank you for, doing something that's helpful and supportive, whatever it is. And, we're going to take things really slowly, and we're going to be kind to ourselves. We're going to be kind to each other. We're going to have compassion with each other. And I'm also seeing doing really no stress, low stress kind of things for everybody. So maybe that means like cuddling up and watching Disney movies, or maybe it means going out for walks, but it feels like we're getting back down to the basics and the structure, because things have escalated so much that it feels like it's really difficult to come back and get back to those places. But the biggest thing that's popping up is I'm feeling the need for a break. Part of what's also coming in, and I've got one of your kids who I wonder if there's some stuff that's going on. Like, this feels like this could be hormonal. This could be something that's behavioral as well. Like, there's something that's going on that feels like it's triggering and kind of making the spiral go a little bit faster. And I'm wondering if there's an opportunity to kind of implement the timeout. So when you notice that things are starting to get really big, whether it's like anger or frustration or overwhelm or stress or anxiety, whatever the big emotion is for either of you, saying, hey, like, let's take a time out. And instead of like going kind of past the point of no return, saying, hey, like, let's back it up, let's back it off, and let's create some space. The last message that I have coming up for you is counseling feels like it could be really helpful and supportive, certainly for you, but I'm also seeing for your kids and in that overall family dynamic as well, because it feels like you guys are really needing some balanced footing again. Let's take a look. So we're going to the archangels. Oh, and I've just thrown half of the deck on the floor. So we're going to pick one from what's left, because we're just going to say that whichever ones are on the floor were not meant to be in the mix. And we've got the Angel Therapy card. This is Archangel Raphael, and I'm so glad this card has come up. Give your cares and worries to us, angels, and allow us to take your burdens. This is the second time that this card has come up, and as you know, like, I shuffle them all really well, so it's a really poignant or meaningful message for many people. When a card like this comes up, it reminds me of how I like to work with the angels. When I've got something really big and overwhelming, what I'll do is, usually in the shower, I'll have a good cry, and I'll be like, angels, please help me. And I will talk to them. I'll tell them everything that's going on, everything that's happening, everything that I'm worried about. And I talk to them first as if they are my best friend. So I can tell them absolutely anything, and I know that there's no judgment. And two, I talk to them as if they can solve my problem. It's like, if I go to them, whatever problem I have, it's something that they can solve. Because one of what that means is, it means that I'm getting it completely off of my chest. I'm saying, I don't know how to fix this, but you know how to fix this. So I'm going to give it all to you. It doesn't make sense for me to hold it anymore. And there are several things that happen. One, I feel a lot better because it's been a really good purging kind of cry, and I've gotten everything off my chest. Two, often there are things under the surface that I didn't realize were there, but the act of getting it all out and not having to think about it over and over and over again. So I hold on to it, but saying, hey, like, you can hold on to that. I don't have to worry about holding on to it. You hold on to it. And then it allows me to get into other things that are significant, that are complicating or contributing to what I'm feeling and experiencing. And the third awesome thing that happens is the next day, because usually for me, I do it at night. The next day, things have already started to shift and change in the relationship and the circumstance and the situation that I'm in, because I've given it completely over. It's no longer a watched pot that I'm waiting for it to boil. It's now boiling and things are happening. So get it off of your chest. It doesn't make sense to hold on to it. And call on Archangel Raphael, or angels, please help me, whatever works for you, and know that there will be support. Ashley, I am thinking about you. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way, and angelic help too. Thanks for joining us. Shelly, it's so good to see you. What do I need to know about our property that we're trying to sell? I've been manifesting what I want, but I'm getting impatient. It's so funny because when I read that, I saw this impatient. So I'm actually feeling your energy being like this. So it's really forward. It's like, I want things to happen. I want things to happen. And again, there's this kind of watched pot feeling that's coming up. The thing to do is to step back from it, to breathe, and to expect that things will change, to expect that things will happen. So it's kind of like when you're down in it like this, there's fear that's there. It's like, I really want it to happen, but I don't know that it's going to happen. And I'm really invested in it. I'm going to put all of my energy into it because I don't trust. Instead, we're stepping back and I know that this is going to happen. In fact, I'm expecting that it is going to change. I just expect that it is going to happen. I'm no longer demanding something with kind of like a petulant energy. I'm commanding. And when you command, you do it with the expectation that things will happen. Like there's no doubt in your mind. If you think about a general, and I hope that I'm not mixing up analogies because I really am not good with the military hierarchy. But if, let's say that you're a general or like top dog, you are going to expect when you put out a command that the people you give the command to, they're just going to do it, right? Because that's the hierarchy, that's the order of things. And so that's the expectation that you come to. Part of what I'm seeing is, and I don't know where this is coming from because I see your property being absolutely perfect. But it feels like there might be something in your mind that you're like, oh, I'm kind of worried about this, or, oh, maybe that wasn't done quite the way that we wanted it to, which is interesting because as I said, I see everything being perfect. But make sure you go through and let go of any little niggles. The property's perfect. The property's awesome. And don't change the price. It feels like the price is right on. Yeah. It's time for you to let it go and to trust that it's going to happen. And I have February that's popping in. That feels like when things are finished. So not that that's when, that's not when you have the sale coming in. That feels like that's when everything's done and everything's finished. Okay. I was drawn to the, messages from your angels cards, and I'm just going to quickly pull one from the dolphins as well. So the first card that we have here is accept heaven's help. This is a theme this evening, guys. So even if you haven't asked a question, accept heaven's help. The message is you've prayed for help, so get out of the way and let heaven help you. And the same message that I had coming up for Ashley, use it as well. Let go of everything that you are concerned about. Give it over to angels, God, source, universe, whatever your belief system is, but give it over to everybody, but not deceased loved ones. It's kind of like wanting to see a change school board wide, but going to your classroom teacher. Your classroom teacher isn't going to be able to affect change school board wide, but if you go to a superintendent, they can't. So make sure you're going to the right person. And the card that came up for you from the angels deck is Rosetta. You have a gift for working with young people. Let me see. And your divine purpose involves helping, teaching, or parenting children. So this is really interesting because I happen to know that Shelley is a retired teacher. So I find that really, really interesting, and doesn't feel like that has to do with the question you've asked about. But I do want to encourage you to start looking at ways that you can incorporate working with kids, working with students again, into some of the practices that you have, like yoga or Reiki or other things. So it could also be that part of that, bring your energy, put it into other things, has to do with that. So, Shelley, it's always such a pleasure connecting with you. I'm so glad that you joined us this evening. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. And I just looked at the time. We've been live for 44 minutes, and that feels like that's significant and important for you too. I love 44, Shelley. So your angels are with you for sure. Awesome. Tammy, I'm so glad that you came on this evening because you've been on my mind and in my heart, and I've been meaning to reach out to you. Puppets or money or cat. Okay, so Kat's also been on my mind, so we're going to connect with her for you, and she's showing me lots of love and lots of gratitude, so much gratitude for you and for your partner, that you were in her life, that you're in the lives of the people that she loves, because it feels like you still are. She's showing me something in my mouth. I've got some pain here at the back of my mouth. But she's also showing me something that feels like it's in like my arm and my shoulder. And I'm feeling the need to keep an eye on things to make sure that if there's some injury or some pain here, that this is addressed. She's kind of wagging her finger and showing me, make sure that you take care of things, and that you aren't not listening to yourself. Take care of you. She's pointing me to soup as well. And it feels like this is important to make sure that you are eating enough and eating properly and getting all of your vegetables in. So there are a lot of caretaking messages that are coming up from her. And then she's pointing me over. She's going to start putting opportunities in your way so that you basically stumble over them, that you can't help but see them, but you just kind of like roll over, flop over, and like, well, it's there. So that's kind of popping in around like money and finances. She is helping you from the other side, and there's money that's coming in. She's showing me that there are multiple revenue streams that either are going to be coming in, and she's saying not to limit yourself, but not to overburden yourself either. I'm wanting to get down to the water. I'm wanting to make sure that you're moving. And then she's also pointing in something around like neck and headache too. This shoulder, this neck, this headache, there's something that you're needing to address. And oh gosh, she's giving me so much. And then the last thing that she's showing me is like tires, to make sure that the tires are okay, or that they're rotated, or that they're tightened. There's something about tires. She's wanting to make sure that you are okay, that your car is safe, and that you aren't driving in poor conditions. She's saying that that's really important. This feels like this is really significant to her passing as well. What's coming up around poor driving conditions? I'm feeling like it was good not to drive. Like, she keeps showing me being really, really safe and keeping the rubber on the ground. So there's so much that's coming in. She's also showing me that she's sitting with you, that she's planning with you, she's working things out with you. So invite her in, because she's got lots of ideas for you. I feel like I could keep going, but I don't have, I'm limited to the time that we have here. So I want to pull a card for you. Even though half of the card deck is on the floor, I'm being drawn to the angels cards here, and just asking, what is it that you need to know, Tammy? Gifts from God. So this is Archangel Sandalphon, and his message is, we angels bring you gifts from your creator. Open your arms to receive. One of the aspects that's really powerful about this card and this message coming from Sandalphon is Archangel Sandalphon is the angel who lifts our prayers up to God, source, universe, creator, whatever your belief system is. And when he comes through, he's saying, hey, we've heard you. It's already up there. It's already in like the ears, the hands of God. And now you just need to wait. Know that we hear you, and we're helping you, and we're loving you, and we're supporting you, which feels like it's reiterating some of those initial messages that Kathy had for you initially coming up. So Tammy, I'm so incredibly grateful that you popped on this evening. You've been in my mind and on my heart for so long. And I'm so grateful to connect with you. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Awesome. Maxine, hello. You are on my mind too. Man, I'm starting to think maybe everybody's just on my mind all the time. Okay, so Maxine saying, I need career direction or guidance on how to see great prospects. All of my last great options were a no. Oh, so feeling lost and wondering if I missed a door or a window somewhere. Oh, okay. All right, let's take a look. So as soon as you had like or a window in brackets, I'm like, there's got to be a trap door around here somewhere. And I thought, oh man, just leave it to Maxine to have like the rug literally pulled out from under her, but that's where the door and the opening is. Okay, let's take a look and see what we've got coming up for you. Man, there are so many options and opportunities, but I feel like they need to be polished up a little bit, and that's part of the reason that you're not seeing them. So it feels like there are options, there are opportunities, but I feel like I'm kind of looking over them or like bypassing them because they don't look great. So basically what I'm kind of saying is, hey, universe, can you level this up a little bit? Because there's something more that needs to be offered in order for me to pursue it. So what I'm getting with that message is I'm seeing actually going across the monkey bars. So in order to get from the start to the finish with the monkey bars, you have to go each monkey bar at a time. You can't just hang out in one, say, hey, like this is all I'm going to do, and expect that you're going to get over to the other side. You need to take one and then the next and the next and the next and the next in order to get where you're going. So part of what that says to me is that a lot of the options or the opportunities that felt like they were really great but haven't panned out, that they were monkey bars along the journey that are helping to get you to that point. So part of it is reframing in your mind how you're seeing it and saying like, hey, that was just part of the journey that took me there. I thought that was the end point, the end game, but hey, I was wrong. There's actually something else that's going to come, and I'm excited about that because I'm ready to swing off of the bar that I'm on. Let's take a look. Where do we have this opportunity coming in for you? There's something that's popping up. I'm seeing a 3-week period of time. I'm feeling a bit of impatience for it to come sooner, but it's like, no, slow down. It's okay. In part because this opportunity hasn't completely fleshed out yet. So it's the way that I'm seeing it is there's somebody who is thinking about this job, but they haven't completely decided what the job's going to be yet or what it's going to look like. So that's why there's the wait, is because the job literally isn't available yet. When I ask about where you're going to find it, because I've been self-employed for 17 years, I haven't been using these job seeking skills, but I'm hearing Indeed. So I'm wondering if it's something that's going to be posted there. But it also feels like it's something that, again, you're just going to kind of stumble across. So yes, it may be posted in some form of public platform, but I'm seeing this coming through some sort of social connection as well. So I don't know if you are or you have been involved in any sort of networking. This feels like this is some sort of women's networking group. But I'm wanting to put feelers back out into some form of networking group because it feels like that's where it's coming about. This does feel like this is somebody who's needing help. And initially it looks like it's something that's temporary. But what I'm seeing is that you've been able to help them like level up, scale up, that is like they're needing consistent help and support. Or there are two ways that this comes together. Yes, this person is continuing to need help and support, but also what you have done for them. Somebody else is like, oh, Maxine, do you think you could do that for me too? So I'm kind of wanting to connect with people who are entrepreneurs, who are probably, I'm hearing solopreneurs, so probably somebody who's working on their own. Likely this organization doesn't have other employees. It feels like this is going to be something on kind of a contractual basis. I'm seeing something that looks like a 3 to 6 month period of time that you would be contracted to them. And it's something that carries on and carries forward, but possibly under some sort of like new terms, but that's okay. And that there's somebody else who kind of sees what you're doing is like, oh, I need that help and support too. So yeah, I suspect this is also part of the reason that those networking messages were coming up. And I'm kind of wondering, and again, this is just kind of because I know some of the experiences that you've had. I kind of want to go back to someone because it feels like that might be part of the in that you have. Let's take a look. We're going to go to the mermaids and dolphins, and we're just going to ask, what does Maxine need to know about work coming up? Oh, and I just saw getting bendy. So there's something that you're doing for yourself. I'm going to say like yoga, personal practices, and that this may expand into something that's a little bit more. And I want to encourage you to be open to it, even if it's something that's part-time and something that's temporary. I'm seeing that it's a go. I can't believe we've worked with all three of the card decks this evening, and every single deck has given us the same message. You're being helped. Accept heaven's help. Heaven is listening. And so again, even if you haven't asked a question or you haven't had your question answered yet, know that the energy is out there, that you are all being helped. Accept heaven's help. So for you, Maxine, you're being helped. Heaven is working behind the scenes to help you, even if you don't see the results yet. So things are closer. I just saw the rear view mirror, the side view mirror. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear is exactly what's coming up for you, Maxine. There is help and support, and things are coming together even faster than you realize. So I kind of want to encourage you to enjoy the next little bit while you're kind of quiet, because that's going to change sooner rather than later. I'm so incredibly grateful that you joined us this evening. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way, and lots of manifestation energy your way too. Awesome. Jenna, hello. It's so good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Oh, Carrie, yes, we talked about this last time. So Carrie's asking, I'm wondering if I'm getting closer to my goal from last time's questions, final approval. And I'm seeing yes, 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 and yes. So things are coming together. The way that I'm seeing it is like the stamp of approval. It feels like it's making its way through various different systems or various different people's desks, and each one is kind of rubber stamping it. So yes, things feel like they are coming together. They are moving together faster. There's December the 13th just popped into my head. I don't even know what day of the week that is. Hold on half a second. I'm going to check our computer here. December the 13th is a Wednesday. And that's popping up as being significant. So kind of keep your eyes and ears open on that day. I'm just asking if there's anything you can do. And I'm seeing a lot of citrine and lots of appetite. And I want to encourage you to do a grid for yourself. So there are lots of different ways to do crystal grids. I like to take the crystals that I have on hand. And here are some of my rules with it. So because I think that I kind of border on a type A personality that's kind of taken a vacation. And so I like things to be perfect. And so one of the rules that I have for myself is when I'm going to do a grid or when I'm going to do any sort of ritual, anything that I need is going to be something that I can grab within 5 minutes, because I don't want to spend a huge amount of time gathering things, because the most important thing in any sort of ritual is you. So 5 minutes to grab whatever it is that you need, and then sit down with a piece of paper and a pen and write out what it is that you are working towards manifesting. And don't tell the universe how it's going to happen. Just ask for an overall outcome. And so it could be, I want to feel supported. I want to be financially supported so that I can do X, Y, and Z, so that I can heal, so I can support myself, so I can support my family, so I can do the things that I love. Whatever it is that you're trying to manifest, write it down, but be as open as you can be. And then choose your crystals. So I like to have my statement somewhere in the middle, and I like to choose a crystal that kind of energetically supports that overall message and that overall theme. You don't have to know what all of the crystals do in order to be able to choose one. If you've got a pile of crystals, awesome. Just choose one. Which one needs to be at the center and the focus of what I'm doing? Boom. And that then goes down. And then as you're doing that, maybe you've got things that you're releasing. So for example, I'm going to pick this crystal, and this crystal is going to represent me releasing the fears that I have that this isn't going to happen. And I'm going to place that somewhere in the grid that I'm creating. And then I'm going to come up with something else. I'm worried about not being able to financially support myself. Let's say that's one of them. I'm going to take a crystal. I'm going to put that down. This is the representation of me releasing that fear. And you go through all the fears and go through all the hopes that you have. This is my intention that the results of this grid are going to promote peace for me. They're going to promote prosperity for me, and place the crystals. The thing with the crystal grid is it doesn't have to be pretty, but it needs you and it needs your intention. And as I said, don't stress about bringing everything together. Use what you have and set the intention that everything that you're able to get together in that 5-minute period of time is exactly what you need. I'm trying to remember if I had another message for you. I don't even remember if I pulled a card for you, Carrie. I don't think I pulled a card. So we're going to go to the magical mermaids and dolphins. And we've got morning affirmations. So the message is, say positive affirmations each morning to open the gates of manifestation. So start your day with the expectation that everything that you're working on is going to come around. It's going to come together, and move forward with the expectation that it has already happened. And I know that we've talked about this, but at the end of any sort of affirmation or manifestation work, I always like to include this or something better, because what I see as being a possibility isn't necessarily what is actually a possibility. So instead of limiting myself to what I think can be possible, I'm going to say, hey, universe, you know everything that could possibly happen. So I'm going to leave it up to you. What do you think is best? And trust me, you're going to get the best choice. Carrie, it's always a pleasure connecting with you. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way, and lots of manifestation Jojo, all that jazz. Mackenzie, it's so good to see you. Wondering what may be coming up for me with work, especially growing my business. What do you see as the next step for expansion? Okay, let's take a look and see what we have. Expansion feels like it has to do with connecting with other people, with other businesses and other ventures. I keep hearing joint venture, actually. So just to explain, I'm sure that you're aware, but in case other people who are joining us aren't, joint venture is when you have two business people who are coming together to either to offer something to their customers, or they're creating something that's a co-offering. They're not merging and melding their businesses together. They're just kind of partnering with each other for a short amount of time, then going off on their separate ways. And it feels like that's part of what you're doing. Is I'm seeing you growing and expanding your business by sharing business contacts and energy with another business while you're at the same time promoting something. And it's kind of like you come together and like you grow together and support each other together, and then you kind of blast off and you do your own thing and you do that again with somebody else. And it feels like the growth that you're going to start seeing with that you're experiencing with that is going to continue to launch you into new things. I actually want to encourage you to look at ways of bringing somebody else on to take off some of the like administrative stuff, because it feels like there's a lot that you're starting to get bogged down in. And I want to see you being able to either like connect with your customers and clients, or to be able to work on other things. I also have what kind of looks like a book coming up. is it a book or like a worksheet or like a workbook? So there's some form of teaching that's definitely coming to the forefront for you. And it feels like this is a bit of a program. So that joint venture kind of thing could actually be with several different people where they promote for you to their clientele what you're doing, and they get a little bit of a kickback. And then when they've got a thing to promote, you do the same back to them. But yeah, I think probably the three big things that I'm seeing are: one, free up yourself so that you're able to work more with your clients and your customers and in like some form of development, because there's some sort of product or book or course or something that you need to develop and to put out there in order to better serve the people in your business. Two is make sure that you're connecting with other entrepreneurs, because it feels like there's a need to bounce back and forth off of each other, to support each other, to encourage each other, and to expand your reach so that everybody's expanding their reach. And three, make sure that you're looking for ways to bring help and support in so that not everything is on your plate, because you need to be able to free yourself up to do what you do best. Let's take a look. We're going to go to the angels. We're just going to ask, what does Mackenzie need to know to support her business moving forward? Yeah. Oh, this is beautiful. This is actually, this kind of goes along with the kindness message that we had earlier. This is gentleness. This is Archangel Sandalphon again. So we just talked about Sandalphon, how he raises like our prayers up to God, Source, Universe, Angels, Ascended Masters. And his message is: be very gentle with yourself at this time. Surround yourself with gentle people, situations, and environments. So like in addition to everything else that we said, make sure that you're taking time to slow down, to take care of yourself, to not be push, 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 go, 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 but to make sure that you're balancing. It is possible to overextend yourself in things that are positive and amazing, to the point where when you step back out or when you're asked to do more, you're like, I'm tapped out, I'm done. So make sure that you are taking that time to slow down, to support yourself. And again, like that kind of feels like that almost reiterates the message that came up around bringing somebody in to help and support you. Make sure that you are able to focus on the things that are most important to you, and the things that you do the best at, because you're kind of coming to a point in your growth and development where there are a lot of different pieces that need your attention, and you're only one person, and you are best served focusing on the things that you do best rather than some of the niggly kind of stuff that could be passed over to a trusted colleague. Mackenzie, I'm so incredibly grateful that you joined us this evening, and I'm so glad that you're sending me your mailing address. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Awesome. Brianne, thanks for joining us. Brianne's wondering, what do I need to do to get my ankle ready? Oh, for hiking the Swiss Alps in 2025. Okay, so first of all, that's really cool and exciting. I'm thrilled for you. Okay, so first of all, when I ask about your ankle, I've got almost what feels like stress and tension on the outside of my ankle. It's coming up for me on my right ankle, but that doesn't necessarily say anything. But just that I've got this tension that's coming up. I am wanting to make sure that you're doing like strengthening exercises, mostly because what's coming through feels like it's like muscular and or tendon related. So I'm wanting to make sure that there's lots of movement while also lots of stability and support in the area. I'm wanting to do like the rollies, and I'm wanting to do the up and downs and the back and forths. I'm wanting to go up on tiptoes. I'm wanting to like kind of walk on the outside of the foot and then walk on the inside of the foot. And I've got stuff that's coming up around knee as well. So, I mean, I think what I'm going to say is physical therapy of some sort feels like that's really helpful and supportive. And I'm kind of wanting to put yourself, so I'm wanting to see lots of positions that kind of has your foot up like this. I'm going to say like in some form of flexion, because it feels like that's helping to support, but I'm also wanting to focus on things that are allowing you to balance as well, because balance feels like that's going to be a big part of it. So things like standing on one leg, and then your other leg going back, and your arms and your torso going forward, so that you're kind of like this with your leg here. I don't know any other way to describe it and to show it to you other than that. But yeah, so balance and stability, rotation and movement, and basically lots of physical therapy is what I have coming up. And I'm also wanting to look at some form of shoe that feels like it's special. And I'm kind of flip-flopping, because initially it looked like it was something that was fairly structured. And then I flipped over to something that looked like it was completely unstructured. It almost looked like those like hiking socks, I think. I don't know exactly what they're called. But instead of having like lots of support around your ankle, I'm actually seeing you actively working on things that don't have a lot of inherent support built in them, so that it encourages your body to build up that strength and support, because it feels like there's a lot of need for strengthening that's coming up. All of that is very true. But there might be something that happens before that. I mean, if you needed surgery, it feels like that's something that you would have already had. So that was the only little blip that flashed in. I'm not getting any clarity around what that looks like. But if that is something that is kind of a possibility, I want to encourage you to pop in and talk to your doctor or your potential surgeon and just see if that's something that is appropriate for you, or if some of the other things that I'm talking about would be supportive instead. The other thing, the very last thing that comes up is things that have to do with our ankles and our knees in particular. On an energetic level, it's all about moving forward. So from like an energetic and an emotional, mental, emotional point of view, take a look at things that you might be holding on to that maybe it's time to move on from. These could be like relationships that you've been in, but you recognize are no longer serving you, but for maybe like sentimental or emotional reasons, you're holding on to them, even though you know that they aren't great. This could be true for situations as well. Or this could also be boundaries that you're holding on to. Boundaries are things that we put in place for ourselves at a time when we need healing, love, and support. And the boundaries are there to help us and to support us during those times. But over time, we heal. And sometimes those boundaries that we've put in place no longer serve us. In fact, sometimes they only serve to hold us where we are, and they actually start to hurt us. So like on mental, emotional levels, I would take a look at those two things. Are there boundaries that you're holding on to that no longer serve you because you've grown, you've healed, and you've moved beyond them, and they're now hurting you? Or are there relationships or situations that maybe you need to look at whether or not they're still continuing to serve you? And again, that comes from the point of view that the ankle and the knee both have to do with being able to move forward. So if you have injury or challenge in either of those areas energetically, that could be part of what's holding on. So I just asked, what does Brienne need to know? Where were the mermaids and the dolphins? And we've got music for manifesting. I have to say, I wasn't expecting this card. The message is to manifest rapidly. Think of your desire while you chant, hum, sing, or play music. So what I would say is when you're preparing for your hike and you're going out hiking and you're expanding your walking capacities, allow yourself to sing and hum and to chant as you're kind of getting in the groove, because that serves to lift our energy and our vibration. And hopefully it will allow you to enjoy the experience even more. Brienne, I'm so grateful that you joined us. Thank you for popping on this evening. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. And I just noticed that we're at 1:11 on our time. 1:11. I've always believed that means make a wish, because your thoughts and your dreams are manifesting rapidly. But Kyle Gray has also brought out the idea that 111 is that we are all one in this. So whichever floats your boat. Awesome. Heidi, it's so good to see you. Thanks for joining us this evening. Heidi says, I've been working on spiritual healing and growth, and it has been healing connections simultaneously. Awesome. Congratulations. I can feel energy around me. I know that it is his energy, and I feel he is healing too. Am I right? Is he healing? Okay, so let's take a look and see what we have. I do feel and see that you are like in touch with that healing and in touch with that energy. I'm wondering about the person, only because I'm feeling that there is like a separation between you and the person that I suspect that we are, that we're talking about, that we're connecting with. And I kind of want to open the board and clear the board a little bit. I do feel this being the energy of a man, of a partner who is coming into your life, possibly somebody who already is in your life, but is kind of coming back. But I don't know that it's specifically the person that you are thinking about. And so what I'd encourage you to do is sense into this energy as the representation of the partner who is coming into your life, rather than saying this is so and so's energy. So when I tap into like that energy of that partner who is around you, I feel a reaching and a warmth that is extending to you, which is exciting. I do still feel that there's a little bit of distance. There's some time, that there's some space that is happening there, because there is stuff that's going on. I immediately got like a huge amount of pain in my heart. So it does feel like there is something that this person is working through. I'm feeling like a lot of grief that's coming up for them, and that they aren't in a place that they are ready. But it does feel like there's a lot of support. There's a lot of growth that's happening there, which is exciting. I am feeling connecting with this person in the not too distant future. However, I'm kind of moving into like early 2024. So this doesn't feel like this is a right away thing. And it also, what I'm seeing, when you go to the doctor's office, they have the old scales where they move the weight along to figure out your weight. I hated those. But anyway, that's kind of what I'm seeing. So when I say like, are we looking at February? Are we looking at March? Like I'm seeing it being moved along. So it feels like this timeline, this time frame could slide and slip. So it's not, it's definitely not exact. And for me, that goes a lot into like free will, that there's stuff that's going on that is outside of this person's control. And that's just kind of the way that it is. But I do feel you like feeling and connecting with the energy of a person. I would just encourage you not to say this is the energy of so-and-so, because this feels like this is the energy of a partner who is coming into your life. And that is the extent that we know of it. Let's take a look. We're going to go, as I said, even though half the cards are on the floor, we're going to the angels and we're just asking, what does Heidi need to know? And immediately I'm seeing Archangel Metatron coming up with some chakra clearing energies. Oh, I was going to say chakra clearing spray as well. So we're clearing out energy. We have 3 cards that just fell out. So unsurprisingly, we have Archangel Metatron, and he's talking about prioritize in this card. Archangel Metatron also helps us to clear our energy. He works with energy healers, with Reiki and all sorts of other things. So I see that as confirmation of the work that you're doing, and want to encourage you to invite him in when you're doing your learning, your growth, and your practices. Archangel Metatron says, focus on your highest priorities. I will help you get organized and motivated. So it feels like this is encouragement to make sure that, yes, you are continuing to focus on yourself, because that's awesome, beautiful, and amazing. That's incredibly important. But also to make sure that you're focusing on the other important things in your life, like family and friends pop up to the forefront, to make sure that you're interacting and engaging with them on those levels. And I want to encourage you to connect with people locally who have same or similar interests, from like an energy, from a spiritual point of view, because it feels like that is really helpful and supportive, and just brings kind of a new element to your life. For some reason, like I'm seeing this like a salad, like if you're making a really awesome salad, and yes, you've got the lettuce and you've got the tomatoes and you've got the the cucumber, but when you add some toasted seeds, it just kind of takes it to the next level. I don't know, just a random image for you. The next card that we had is Archangel Azrael. This is the counselor card. You are a natural counselor, and many people benefit from your guidance and reassurance. But in addition to that, Archangel Azrael helps and supports us with grief and grieving and letting go as well. So the old adage, when you let something free and it comes back to you, it's yours. Something like that. I know that I've garbled it, but the idea of just because you let something go doesn't mean that it isn't going to come back, but that you need to allow it to come back to you. And the last card that we have is the Beloved One card. This is Archangel Chamuel, and this is the soulmate relationship card. So Archangel Chamuel says, I'm helping you with your spiritual soulmate relationship. So like they're on it. They hear you. They understand what it is that you're working on, what you're working towards, and they're helping and supporting you with that, which is amazing. But again, I'd encourage you to take the person out until you have somebody who is working with you and back and forth with you. All of the rest of this is energy, and you need them to be working on the physical with you. So allow yourself to say, this is the energy of my partner. Whoever that partner is, this is the energy of my partner. And that is what I'm inviting in. Heidi, it is always such a pleasure connecting with you. I'm so grateful that you popped on this evening, and I'm so excited about the work that you're doing too. That's absolutely incredible, and you're doing an awesome job. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love, and support your way. All right, we've got Jessica here. Hi, Jessica. Thanks for joining us. Okay, how many more harmony? Be invited into a twin flame connection going through a lot of grief. How may more harmony be invited into a twin flame connection going through a lot of grief? Oh, that's such a beautiful question. I'm going to read it out one more time to make sure that I've got it and so that everybody's with me. So Jessica is asking, how may more harmony be invited into a twin flame connection going through a lot of grief? So when I connect with this question, first of all, I'm seeing sitting in harmony in the physical, two people together. And the way that I'm seeing is sitting face to face like this. I have openness in hands, so possibly hands that are stacked with each other. And there's a closeness, there's a bond. And then part of what I see is like an opening, and that there's the connection still between the two. And then there's an openness on both sides to invite in harmony, to invite in peace, to invite in grace. Part of what I'm seeing is a lot of breath and breathing. And Jessica, I know that this is your forte, that this is part of where you shine. I see breath and breathing. And part of the reason for that is grief is something that we hold physically in our chest, specifically in our lungs. And so, inviting breath, intentional breath into relationship, into connection, to see, to honor, to hold and to support as we are moving through, expanding through. I even have it right here. I made this card a couple of years ago based on a meme that was floating around that just spoke to me. People tend to think that grief shrinks over time. In reality, we grow around our grief. And that's part of what I'm seeing is part of the grieving and the healing process is allowing ourselves to grow and to expand around it, to hold it, to honor it. And coming into a place of recognizing what grief is. Grief is love that we can no longer express, or that can no longer be accepted in the way that we want to express it, the way that we want to accept it, and in the way that we want to receive it. And it is an honoring that the grief that we hold and that we carry is actually a proof that love has existed. And it feels like coming into acceptance in that twin flame connection that one or both of you hold and carry that grief is part of what helps to allow that harmony to come in, because it's something that is part of both of you. I just want to see if there's anything else that's coming up around that. And I'm going back to your question, how may more harmony be invited into a twin flame connection? Going through a lot of grief. All of the things that pop up feel like they are true, and feel like they answer part of the question that you are asking. In addition to that, I'm seeing connecting with nature, with being outside. I'm seeing the forest, particularly without the leaves. So it feels like the fall that we are in now is a perfect time for part of it. And it feels like this is actually part of the ceremony. Like the falling of the leaves feels like it is part of Mother Nature's natural, like moving into death and then coming up into rebirth. And so I'm seeing incorporating some of that into the harmony and into the bond and the connection. And then the last thing that's popping up is I'm seeing water being significant in this healing process and healing journey as well, moving into mindful and intentional movement into and out of water, or in bathing and in showering. But the water feels like it's significant, and particularly through the throat and through the chest and the heart. And the very last thing that I'm seeing, and I know Jessica will know how to do this because she has practiced Reiki with me, is I'm seeing hand to hand going to each person. So the dominant hand being taken by the other person and held to their heart, and vice versa, held to the heart, and the breathing and the sharing of love and the sharing of Reiki, of energy and healing directly into one of the places where we hold a lot of the grief and where healing is needed. We'll pull a card for you, Jessica, and just see what message is coming through. So this is the messages from your angels, and it's Isabella, and her message is yes. The timing is right for this new venture. A happy outcome follows your positive expectations. In addition to that, I see this as being a yes in terms of you're on the right path, you're on the right direction in what you are already doing, what you are already planning, and how you are wanting to move forward. So continue to follow that guidance and your intuition. Jessica, I'm so glad to see you on here this evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way, lots of healing as well. Awesome. Tatiana, it's so good to see you. I'm glad that we're getting to you tonight because I know last time we didn't get to you. Oh, geez. So Tatiana says, I had a little seizure last night and lost vision in my left eye. Vision restored, but what a weird feeling. Yeah, and surrender. Let me see. Did you know you can feel blindness? I didn't know that. I shared with some friends, including a certain someone. Do I have anything that I need to be very concerned about regarding brain lesions? Will I get any kind of support from this person? Okay, so the first thing, I'm not a medical practitioner, so I will always refer you to your medical doctor or the medical field, or somebody who is well versed in what you're dealing with, because it's not in the purview of what I handle. And I am wanting to encourage you to investigate this further, because it does feel like there are things that are going on that I'm not able to see, that I'm not aware of, but I do strongly want to encourage you to make sure that you are getting the help and the support that you need. I'm not seeing clearly anything around brain lesions. Like when I look at it, everything is really fuzzy and murky for me. So like I don't have the answers to that question. And I suspect that part of the reason it's not being given to me is because you do need to pursue more. And that if I were to give you that message and information, that potentially you wouldn't. So I'm not getting that message because you do need to look further and you need to get help and support outside of me. But going to the other question, asking about getting any kind of support from the person that you're asking about, I get it. I get flip-flop that's coming up. I do see support that's coming through initially, but it doesn't feel like it's something that is sustained, and it doesn't feel like it's something that you're able to depend upon. So the way that I see it is, if you're wanting a sundae, he's not the banana, he's not the ice cream, he's not the whipping cream, but he might be the cherry on top, or he might be the sprinkles. Like, he's not the main event. And it feels like he could also like roll off if somebody put the sundae down really messily. So it feels like, yeah, there probably is some support that's coming in, but it doesn't feel like it's at the depth that you want, that you need, or that you deserve. So I want to encourage you to make sure that your support system is strong and stable outside of this person, because it feels like that's part of what you need. And again, I'm hearing part of what you deserve. So see any kind of overtures that he may make as being, hey, like, I'm concerned. I want to make sure you're okay, but I don't know that I have to give to you what it is that you want and need. And he's flashing in reciprocating, and I'm seeing that he's not reciprocating in possibly the way that you cared and supported, cared for him and supported him. So just be aware. This also feels like this is possibly coming from a managing of expectations. And the other thing that I'm seeing is I'm hearing like let go and let God, and I'm seeing moving into like your spiritual connections, moving into your divinity, your spiritual energy, and connecting with source and universe and whatever it is that works in your belief system, to make sure that you're connecting on that level, because it feels like that's part of what's coming up. Is you need to have like that strong connection, that strong communication, because that is going to be a big part of where your faith and your healing is coming into the experience that you're going through. I keep hearing trust over and over and over again. I am a firm believer that the things that we experience in our physical body or in our mental and emotional bodies, it always has some sort of spiritual significance. It's going to take us on a spiritual journey or spiritual exploration, or it's going to move us and propel us further. And that's part of the reason that we are exploring and experiencing it. And part of what I'm seeing is that in this situation, that there is a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of opening for that to be happening, while at the same time still dealing with the physical body. Like, physical body is saying, hey, we've got stuff that's going on. We need help and support in certain ways, as well as the mental, emotional, and spiritual support too. So making sure that you're delving into all of them. And I'm seeing some food choices that are coming up. I'm not exactly sure what they are, but it does feel like there are some dietary adjustments that I'm seeing you making over the next little while, that feels like it's going specifically to support healing in your body, and making sure that you have the resources, making sure that your body has the resources that it needs. It's kind of like you're not going to go into a race completely unfueled. So you're not going to go into this healing journey completely unfueled as well, making sure that your body is getting all of the nutrients that it needs, so that that isn't a stressor that it's dealing with too. We're going to the messages from the angels, and we're just going to ask, what does Tatiana need to know? And we have Isaiah here, and Isaiah's message is, it's a good time to give birth to new ideas and situations in your life. I am watching over you, guiding you, and protecting you during those changes. So I don't know that that necessarily specifically came up, but what it does mean is that there are shifts and adjustments, that you are being cared for, that you're being supported, and that there are new opportunities and new experiences that are coming into your life. And just because the imagery that we have here, if you look up, really closely, we have a pregnant woman. For many, pregnancy and bringing a child into the world is a time of joy. It's a time of celebration. And I feel that energy coming up around the situation that you're in right now as well. Yes, there is definitely a lot of challenge, and it isn't necessarily going to be easy on a physical level, but what is coming, what it is bringing, is something that is really joyful, that it is something that can be celebrated, and just to keep breathing. And at the same time, make sure that you're connecting with your support network, because it feels like that's something that you're going to need as you're moving through. Tatiana, I am so incredibly grateful that you popped on this evening. I'm sending big hugs, so much love, healing, and support your way. And I'm also going to ask Archangel Raphael to come in and help and support you as well. One of the ways that Archangel Raphael works and functions is he helps and supports us in finding the medical or the healers that we are needing to support us in the challenge that we're in. He also helps to make sure that they have the knowledge, the resources, the energy that they need to best help and support us too. So he kind of like is he's a bit of a healing matchmaker. So I'm going to ask that he comes in and helps and supports you to make sure that you get all of the help, healing, and support that you need while you're moving through this. We have come to the end of our evening, the end of our show. I know that we have so many questions that I didn't get to this evening. I am so sorry. I'm so grateful that you joined me. And my plan and intention is that we will be back next Tuesday as well. Just because of the spammers that we get, I will post a couple of hours beforehand. So keep an eye out on my page. And we'll have more information about chakra clearing sprays coming up soon. I'm so excited to share them with you. And I can hardly wait. I hope you have a fabulous evening. And and the very last thing, hold on, let me put it up again. If you are wanting me to send a season's blessings card, a Christmas card, whatever you would like to call it, please send me your mailing address at the link below here. It is postable.com/Erin Lee 2023. Tonight, maybe tomorrow, are the last days that I'm going to be taking new mailing addresses, because if I don't put a limit on it, then I will be writing out cards for the next 3 years. So thank you so much for joining me. Big hugs, lots of love and support your way, and I hope to see you next week. Bye.